One of the most common questions we get from professionals is, how do I stand out, especially in this age of AI? This tip, and I think if you're junior just starting out your career, this will help you leapfrog your career. 3 ways to stand out. Number one, build it and ship it. Build something in AI and ship it. It's the whole mentality is prove it, don't tell me. Show me, don't tell me. Instead of saying, yeah, I'm passionate about it, everyone's passionate about something. Say, here's my GitHub link. Here's this link to my website. Here's this link to an app I built using XYZ tools. That's number one. Build it and ship it.
Welcome to the MBD Podcast, a show where we dig into what's actually working or not when it comes to scaling businesses with the people who've been there. Today's guest has definitely been there, so why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself, what you're up to, and where you're going?
Yeah, I'll give you the quick down low. When I was in high school and college, I had 7 different internships because I had zero clue what I wanted to do. So I did everything from PR, marketing, finance, accounting, blah, blah, blah. Eventually found my way to digital advertising. Spent 7 years there, went from assistant media planner, managing 0 people, to VP in about 7 years, managing a org of 40, $400 million in marketing budget, and a big P&L. Then I made an interesting shift to Amazon, where I helped run the marketplace business. Thought I was going to be there a very long time because I enjoyed the team, super smart, great work, big problems to solve, etc. And then I made a cliff jump to be on the founding team of a SaaS startup, venture backed. It was quite the crazy roller coaster. But that brings me to what I'm building now. So I'm the co-founder and COO of Level Up. My business partner is Ethan Evans. He's a retired Amazon executive. And essentially, our platform and content helps people make career breakthroughs. Our core audience tends to be senior ICs, managers, senior leaders in big companies and big tech who want to break through to the executive level. So we cover a bunch of topics from managing up, promotions, building in the age of AI. And part of what we've built and what we're scaling is a community of a couple thousand people that help each other. And one of our big goals that we're trying to unlock, or big puzzles, is how do we build a long-term self-sustaining company that creates sort of a network effects amongst itself.
That's a great career path. And in high school, you did more in high school than probably 99% of people try and figure out for their career path throughout the country, tapping into that. And so where you're at now, how, if a senior executive is looking to do a shift, kind of what's that process look like? How do you help them, one, confirm that's what they want to do? Because it can be, I've got friends looking to make shifts after 20, 30 years in a place to go do something, whether it's start up a business or jump into a different industry. And, sometimes they've got to step back within the role and compensation. So what does that look like? How do you frame that for them to help walk them along that?
So it's interesting right now in this age of AI, some of the most frequent scenarios that we're seeing play out is a big leader and managing anywhere from 50 to 300 people currently, considering to shift back to IC builder. And traditionally, that was seen as a big step back. Like you mentioned, step back in compensation, step back in scope, responsibility, influence, etc. But what we're seeing a shift right now is this might be the better long-term play because you want to get closer to building the products and closer to customers using AI. Right now, we talk a lot about AI in our communities and with a lot of leaders. It's the wild west right now.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has a clue on what's happening, but what we're seeing is a few executives and senior leaders have a very strong stake in the ground and point of view on where AI is going. So I've had friends who have made shifts from big leaders to ICs, and they're doing it because if they feel like if they're not building firsthand with AI right now in their day-to-day job, they're going to be outdated in 3 to 5 years easily. So that's one shift we're seeing. Another interesting shift we're seeing, and the cohort this is happening with, is mostly people with children 0 to 15 years old. We're seeing a lot more people want work-life balance or work-life harmony, and they're either purposely taking a more flexible step back type of role, or they're considering longer term sabbaticals, anywhere from 3 to 6 months. And I don't know the exact reason, but the hypothesis is that COVID had a lot to do with it, where it just
Hmm.
shifted mentally
Exposure.
people's
Yeah.
priorities. Exactly, like with their families, the time, the energy. So we're seeing those two shifts happen. Now, with that said, there's a tension between them, right? Because
Hmm.
on the one hand, you have some people who want to maybe take the foot off the pedal, but at the same time, AI is screaming at everyone saying it's going to change the world in 3 years. Don't get replaced by AI or someone who knows how to do AI. So that tension is really difficult for people to figure out right now.
Yeah, yeah, I see that too. So define IC. I know some people may not
Mm.
fully understand what IC means.
Yeah, so individual contributor, generally meaning you do not manage any direct reports. So you're responsible for the project, product, or service, but there's no headcount under you.
No babysitting.
So it's yeah, a lot of people see it that way because let's well, to be candid, a lot of the pains with management are it's no
I know.
surprise, it's the people issue, right? Because
I
it's a
know. Yeah.
completely different muscle that you have to build. So yeah.
It is. Oh, I'm sorry. So and so said something to you that hurt your feelings, and now I have to talk to so and tell so and so, hey, you hurt their. I know. It's like the amount of time I've wasted on trying to solve therapy problems or different problems amongst people that had nothing to do with work. It's just time wasted. Is in a lot of ways. But if you can get the right team together, you can rock star it, which is a whole different
100%.
conversation, right? A team building and being able to let people go who don't belong there and internal terrorists and all that. But back into identifying. So, say you have a senior exec, they're looking, let's say, in one instance, to step back. How do you help them identify if that's what they want to do? Do you have a process you follow that helps them switch that light bulb to where, like, yeah, that's a great idea. Let me step back, or something else, in another context to help them go, yeah, I want to go do my own thing, or any different variables that you guys are able to help with.
Yeah, there's a few mental models that we like to employ. One of them is the mindset of make sure you play long-term games with positive sum people. So what
Hmm.
that means is whatever role that's going to get you closest to the peers, the leaders that you want to work with for the long term, the ones who you see pushing the boundaries on X technology or AI or sector, et cetera, that's where you want to position yourself, right? Um, because there's two types of rocket ships that propel a career. There's the high growth company where no matter what you do or whatever your role is, you're going to grow. So
Hmm.
rising tide lifts all boats. The other rocket ship is the direct manager you report into. Is this someone on an individual level, a rocket ship, someone who's ambitious, is going to get promoted, is your champion, and when they go up, they'll bring you up. So that's one mental model we look at. The other is um, to pick a role and responsibility that feels like play to you. And the reason why that's key is because once it feels like play to you, you can naturally outwork everyone else. Your output will be stronger, your inputs will be sharper. Um, for most of these for most of these builders who have gone back to individual contributor levels building AI tools, they work on these tools and vibe code on the weekends because they just
Hmm.
like it. It's very hard to compete with someone who likes to play when you see it as
Yeah.
work. So I would start with those two.
Yeah, it's funny because I built an AI business because it was fun, because it was like Legos. It was like creating a workflow, or taking a flow chart and then just making it work. Because you just put the steps in place, and I mean, you got to learn some stuff, right? But like, it's like, wow, look what I just did that everyone's paying everyone else to do, and I did it for like a couple of tokens. I'm paying pennies on the dollar. Like, an example is I was using this tool for Facebook, so that way they could output Facebook data in Looker Studio. So I'd have these reports. I went and I built the tool. Now I do it for 20 cents of what I used to pay like $800 a year for. So each month I paid 20 cents to run the AI program that I built out in NAN. So it's like, it's there, it's right there. It's at everyone's fingertips. They can do it. So you help them identify. I mean, that's great. They identify someone as a rocket ship. They find something they could play on the weekend, make kind of their side thing. And then how do you help them make that transition?
Mm. So in this transition of if they go from people leader to IC,
Hmm.
it's interesting because there's no playbook for it, right? So people are building it right now, but the core principles that don't change. It's always an interesting question to think about, like what changes, but what also doesn't change.
Yeah.
What doesn't change is um, raising the speed bar, building fast, shipping it, getting customer feedback, and optimizing it. I will tell you. So a lot of the top builders I've seen who have made this shift, uh, the reasons why they do it is because they want to get back to building, they want to get closer to customers, and they had too much bureaucratic overhead as a manager that they felt like their skills were just dwindling. So they felt they were going to be outdated naturally by AI in a couple years. Um, and then to make that shift, the best way is just osmosis. There's two ways to that. So if we unpack osmosis, it's building firsthand yourself and shipping it. You have to ship it. That's one of the keys. You can't just build 10 products and then never get customer feedback. And then the second one is you have to teach it to other people, because only then can you scale your adoption. But then you get the feedback loops, right? Because most people will not understand what you've done unless they've done it themselves. You're going to get the questions. And so it's only going to sharpen how you explain it. I like the terminology, explain it like I'm five, because if you can't, to a
Oh,
5-year-old,
yeah.
because if you can't do that, then you're most likely not communicating effectively. So I would do those two parts with osmosis.
Yeah. Explain it like you're five. Like I've said that a million times. Like people go to a site and it's hard to, it's like I like when engineers actually adopt that because when working with engineers, they speak their own language and they think the rest of the world speaks it when it's only other engineers. And then people go to their site and they're like, why are people not signing up? You're like, because no one knows what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that's their friends what they're talking about. Um, Great. So now, where your current company, what are you guys doing to build your pipeline to help get those senior leaders in that are looking to make this type of transformation?
Yeah, so Level Up is an interesting company. It's just the two of us, Ethan and I. And in its essential core, it's a creator business. It's a content creator business. So if we look at a funnel or inverted pyramid, our main discovery channels are LinkedIn. No surprise, because that's where most of the professionals are. And then we also have YouTube and Twitter to broaden our reach. And then below that, our one-to-one relationship building channel is our newsletter, which we've built on Substack. Um, because the old adage in advertising is a customer needs to see your message at least 7 times before they could recall it and remember it. So that's where the newsletter helps. And then in addition to that, we have the community portion for people who want that. And I'll go into a little bit more detail about the community because there's some interesting things happening. And then we offer a combination of on-demand and live online courses for people to take if they want to go deeper. Okay, so the sales funnel, it's it's I would say it's majority LinkedIn right now. So it's us posting. Um, do, and what's interesting with the LinkedIn channel, it's there's a lot of shifts happening. Do texts work best? Do images work best? Do videos work best? The answer is all of the above can work best, but there's a
Hmm.
big shift towards video as a strong platform, just because that's what a lot of customers like. So we're constantly testing that. From a community standpoint, what's interesting is we run our own events sometimes, official networking meetups, a lot of virtual. Sometimes Ethan and I will do talks or presentations, or we call them like career talks, deep dives on a specific topic, like managing up. But what we're seeing is a lot of community led events surfacing. So, for example, one of our members, he's a director at a video games company, and he ran a 3-series AI deep dive study group with the end goal for the community to build something in AI together. We have other members who run virtual meetups on a biweekly or monthly basis. We have another one who started an accountability meetup. So that by end of this year, you have a peer group that you have committed to actioning on these items for your career. Peer mentoring. So all this fun stuff that's happening. You know what I love about it is they just do it.
Hmm.
There's no guardrails from us. If they want to do it and it's high value and positive sum for the community, they just do it and we help them message it and distribute
Nice.
the awareness. But you get, the thing about a marketplace or decentralization is you never know what's going to funnel up.
Hmm.
So sometimes you get surprises and then you just double down. Yeah.
That's awesome. So it sounds like your primary marketing channel is community building. If I was to
Community
think about,
building.
yeah,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is
And
huge.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, like LinkedIn, using that for a part of the community building, because it seems like a lot of the way that people are going to find success is through community and having real responses to real people, right? Instead of pushing at them, it's like, feedback. Like you're going on certain platforms, responding to questions, providing information, doing AMAs. um, and it works. Like, it works well for us because we use LinkedIn and we help our clients with it a lot, and we have a lot of success. We use AI tools to build connections, do messaging, book appointments, lead enrichment, data enrichment, like built tools to help with that, so that way you could find, like, for instance, if you're looking for senior leaders who have particular things within their profiles, maybe it's a time period, and maybe you're finding some other stuff, putting all that together and getting it, and building the community, like that idea of being able to have other people create an event, because then other people outside the community will come into the event. So now you got greater awareness because you're hosting the event. So in thinking of events, what are your thoughts on the metaverse and all the event building that was going on with that? Did you ever play in there?
Yeah, when the metaverse and Web3 was
Was
hot, I,
kicking.
I
Yep.
I dabbled into it. Um, I've never been a huge virtual avatar person yet,
Hmm.
but if we get to Ready Player One status
Man,
and realism, I mean, who wouldn't want to be a superhero and can
yeah.
fly and have all these powers, right? So that would
Yeah.
be fun. I will say, because so this is a point of view that we hold very strongly. In the age of AI, we believe human communities, will
Yeah.
be one of the most valuable things. So what's interesting is I have a good friend. He left Facebook. No, he left Google, went to Facebook, and then he started his own company. And he just throws big in-person events. Started with tech, then brought into VC. His name's Andrew Young. He lives in New York. I think he was named the Great Gatsby of Silicon Alley. Uh,
Wow.
but he's doubling down on human connection, and it's working really well. He throws intimate 8-person dinners to 1,000-person
Mm,
plus conferences, and
wow.
I think he's right on the dot. We're going more the virtual route, um, but I think both will work. It's funny.
Yeah.
I did a talk with my friend Alexis Ohanian pre-COVID, and one of the big call to actions he left people with was, because he co-founded Reddit, was do not underestimate communities. And he was
Hmm.
like, I'm telling you, communities are only going to explode. I think it's so true because you can have niche communities,
Hmm.
like I don't know, Chewbacca Wookiee culture of Star
Yeah.
Wars fans, and you can have huge communities, right? Like what you're building, and people just want to learn from each other.
Yeah.
It's oh, and here's a really interesting thing. I learned this recently. And it plays on psychology, but the research shows that sometimes weaker ties and connections are more valuable to your job or career search than strong deep ties. And you would think, well, why? The reason is because the strong deep ties, they may be too close to you. You may have too many friends in common. You may have too many
Mm.
connections, where if it doesn't work out, it looks bad on both of you.
Yeah.
But a weaker tie is like, oh yeah, I know this person. They seem great. They seem strong. They worked at X. Yeah, here's a referral. Very interesting, right?
That is interesting, because I could see that where you're worried about them not performing, but also
Yeah.
it makes me think, like, do you have that much faith in that so-called good friend for them to
And
do
how
what
do you
they're
say
supposed
no,
to?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know if he'd be good for that, because you know him so well. Like, I don't think so.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So that's fun. Uh, yeah. Anyways, that was like a little tangent.
No, awesome. Yeah, it's so important to understand community building, networking, finding your career path, especially over time. If someone's listening, trying to figure things out right now, which one piece of advice you wish you had earlier on?
Ooh, there's so many. I have a swipe file. It's many pages long. It's a Google Doc. Um, okay, so here's a few things. If I were to tell my younger self, or anyone who is
Yeah.
willing to give it ear, cultivating and maintaining relationships you've built is just as important as starting and rekindling relationships. I I've done a bad job over the years of staying in contact with people from my earlier career, past career. So the question is, can you find a sustainable mechanism that allows you to give updates? And so the people might be listening to this and say, yeah, well, Jason, that sounds great. How do you do it? So one thing I've seen work is if you send a once a year or twice a year email to everyone, blind CC, big email blast. But the key is you have to lead with something interesting that you're doing, share some tidbits, bullet points, and then just ask, what are you working on? Reply here, or how can I help you? Because let's say your email list ends up being 200 people or whatever, you just need 3 replies to create an inflection point in your career, right? Um, but a lot of the people who are silent and don't reply, they usually will read it. Now, the key to this is interesting. I've tested this many times and with other friends. The people who reply the most actually tend to be the most senior executives. And the reason why is because they're so inundated with the day-to-day operations of their business. They're
Mhm.
mundane. It's kind of mundane. They have a lot of executive assistants. So they kind of know what to expect. It's still big and challenging, right? But when they get an email like this, sometimes it cuts through the noise. They read it on their phone. They're like, oh, yeah, that's interesting. I remember Jason from 7 years ago. He wasn't crazy. Let me just reply and say, hey, thanks for sending this. So those types of mechanisms.
Wow. That makes sense when I think of like the senior leaders that I've had over time. They were always one, they were good leaders and they cared
Mm,
about the people that worked for them and they were more likely to reach out. Now, the people who've been under me, I'd say less likely to get a response. One, maybe they didn't like the company. They may have liked me as a manager. Maybe they didn't, but they didn't like and they just want to detach ways from it. So that's a good idea. I do that for the business. I send once a year, usually in January, like, hey guys, how's everybody doing? New budgets. What's going on? Here's what we've been up to. Um,
yeah,
just saying hi.
that's smart.
Uh, but I did think about that for connection or like people the network, the networking group or people from the work network. Um, any other tips?
Yes. So right now in the age of AI, okay, one of the most common questions we get from professionals is, how do I stand out? Right? Especially in this age of AI. So this tip, and I think if you're junior just starting out your career, this will help you leapfrog your career. Um, 3 ways to stand out. Number one, build it and ship it, because most people will never build and ship in the first place. So build something in AI and ship it. It's the whole mentality is prove it, don't tell me, or show me, don't tell me. Right? Instead of saying, yeah, I love AI, use AI, I'm passionate about it. Everyone's passionate about something. Say, here's my GitHub link. Here's this link to my website. Here's this link to an app I built using XYZ tools. That's number one. Build it and ship it. Number two, uh, actually it's really just a 2-step formula. Number two is build it, ship it, and you have to show growth in customers, growth in usage, sales, revenue, whatever. And look, the numbers don't have to be $1 million or $1 billion or anything huge. You just have to show that you can somehow sell this product as well. It could be marketing, it could be outbound, it could be inbound, it could be go to market, it could be something interesting. Um, because the key to that is you want to showcase the ability to build and sell. Just one of those, if you become top percent quartile, is enough to make a great career. But if you can do both, I mean, those people are so rare. Um, that's your interview and resume right there, right? Because
Yeah,
here's the other key. Why this is so important in resumes and interviews is now you have 2 different spokes that forces interesting conversations on the interviewer. They're going to ask you questions. Well, how did you build it? What was your process? What were your mechanisms? What tools? How did you decide the trade-offs, right?
yeah,
And then the second one is, well, how did the heck did you grow this thing? Did you scale it? And then you could pull anecdotes from customers or your experience with the app stores or anything. But it
yeah.
makes you more interesting to talk to. Yeah.
Yeah, that really builds or builds up the conversation.
Hmm. Yeah. So
Awesome.
do that. Uh, there's we've had a lot of success stories in our community where a let's call it like a middle level IC became the known AI expert in their
Hmm.
org. And then and this was a big company, big publicly traded company, Fortune 10. Anytime that VP of the org had an AI meeting, which no surprise was a lot, they'd be like, "Oh, invite this person, bring this person in."
And they got a relationship with them already.
And they got a relationship with them. Yep. And then they became known as the AI person. They became the go-to. And then other people, they've used that position, and then they've found huge external offers elsewhere because they built that reputation. And then
Yeah.
these companies are like, well, AI is important. We need someone like that. So let's give them what they want. Yeah.
Awesome. And where can people connect with you or learn more about what you're doing?
Yeah, just two ways. Find me on LinkedIn, Jason P. Yoong, Yoong. Connect with me there, and then Level Up newsletter on Substack. You'll get weekly career advice.
Awesome. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, it was fun talking with you, Jason. There's a
Yeah,
lot to
man.
unpack here with
I
career,
know. It was too
community,
short.
AI. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maybe we'll connect and focus on a particular topic.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Okay.